everybody, welcome to my Pink Room of Doom. As always, I hope you're doing well today. So as you saw in that opening clip there, it's New Guitar Day, and it's something really cool. I've had, one of these. I've had one of these before. But this one caught my eye in a different way, and I'll explain in just a second. So this is a 20th anniversary Squier Bullet single humbucker finished in this absolutely gorgeous silver finish. It is a hardtail, so there's no trim or anything to mess around with that, which hardtail strats are just mwah, beautiful. They are great guitars. This one's no exception, with a couple of exceptions. So I'll get to that in just a second, but I just want to go ahead and tell you right off the bat that this video is being sponsored by my good friends over at Guyker. They did send some parts out for me to upgrade this guitar with, which is obviously what we're doing, but there is a theme to it that I'm trying to stick with, which I'll cover in just a second. So first and foremost, I just want to talk about this guitar as it stands right now, because I have not changed the strings on it. I've done a little bit of a setup on it just to see if everything kind of works and plays well, and thus far, it does. So I was able to set the intonation and everything, that's fine. I was able to get the action relatively low. I think there's like 1 or 2 high frets, which is not that bad on something like this, because you can find these Squier Bullets on the used market all day long for under $100. So they are worthy investments if the bones are good. That's what a lot of people say about upgrades. But I think there's a high fret like right in here somewhere around the 11th, 12th, 13th fret, but it's nothing that's detrimental and keeping my action from being low like I like it. One pickup here, it sounds rather stratty, which I guess is kind of the point, but I've always found that in single humbucker strats, that the pickup, the humbucker, can sound kind of thin. And I don't know if it's just a cheap pickup or whatever the case may be, but we're gonna rectify that in just a second. One volume knob's all you need. All this down here again works. The truss rod works, which is nice and cool. And then it's got 2 string trees up here. It does say Squier Bullet, and then up at the headstock too, this is where we find our biggest issue, and that's the tuners. The tuners are pretty janky. They're pretty loose. They're not the greatest. This thing does fall out of tune a lot. But other than that, everything on it is pretty good. So I think that this makes a great upgrade platform. So what are we using to upgrade this, and what's the theme that I'm going for here? Well, I'll talk about the theme really quickly. So since it's a silver bullet, I figured it'd be nice to make it like a werewolf theme or like a wolf theme, right? So to go along with that, I bought this super awesome Big Bad Wolf sticker on Amazon for like $3. I tried to do like a werewolf, but those were take like 2 weeks to get here, and I'm like, I'm not waiting 2 weeks for a sticker because I gotta get this video done. But yeah, so I mean, I figured silver bullet, ha ha ha, kind of funny. Going along with the silver bullet theme, or the bullet theme overall, Guyker did send out, for some reason, 9 of the bullet knobs, right? So it looks like a bullet, and I figured that'd be kind of funny to put on there, right? We're gonna change pickup. And because you can't buy single pickups from Guyker, you gotta buy sets, they did send me a set. And I did black, obviously trying to go with the black pick guard and all that kind of stuff. I wanna try to keep the black theme. Aside from the bullet knob, it does kind of match the silver a little bit, which I thought was kind of cool. And then obviously we're gonna be replacing the tuners on there with some Guyker locking tuners. So you can find all those parts down in the description, and I do have a code down there that you can use to get a little bit off of your order as well. So make sure you visit the link in the description. It is an affiliate link. It helps me out greatly. It helps me make these videos and continue to get support from Guyker to help keep this channel going. So hope I'm not blowing too much, what did he say, powdered sugar? or whatever. I like to throw stupid comments in my videos sometimes. But anyway, sometimes I don't make the stupid comments. Other people do it for me. But with that being said, let's go ahead and kind of get the upgrade process and the setup process, because I've not done anything to this guitar other than tune it, really. Kind of going on the soon-to-be Werewolf Squier Bullet. Silver Bullet. We're going to try to do this in one take just because it's too much of a pain in the butt to edit all of it. But obviously, we have to remove the strings. I put them kind of in the middle just to give equal length to wrap them up, dispose of them properly. That's just how I like to do it, but however you want to. So as you can see, these go through the back of the bridge, not through the body because it's not a through body. But speaking of the body, beautiful silver finish, really, really good shape. The fretboard can use a little bit of attention. We'll get to that obviously in just a little bit. It's just a little dirty. The frets are a little dull,
but you know how we like to fix that here on the channel. First and foremost, we're going to polish up the body just to get rid of any dust, any kind of grime that's on there, just to keep it nice and pretty. And then we're obviously going to start with the easiest of the upgrades, arguably, putting on this new Bullet knob, because Bullet. Take this music nomad tool, which I'll probably link in the description. This is a really handy tool to have. Pop that old knob off, loosen the screw that's in this Bullet knob here, put it on there, tighten it, you're good to go. You see that on a lot of super strats, and that's kind of what this thing's maybe turning into a little bit, but you know, we have some dents in the frets. That happens on these cheaper guitars, but in this case, it doesn't affect the playability or setting the action or anything. But we're going to go ahead and address the sheen of these frets and just take some 0000, that's 4 zeros, folks, steel wool, and some fret guards, which obviously I got on Wish for like under $1. I got 2 of them, and I use them to this day, and they're great. And you can see it does the job, folks. That steel wool does the job. Lemon oil also does the job. Dunlop 65, can't beat it. Put some on there. You want to let it sit for just a minute. But what I like to do, I like to take a toothbrush, just an old toothbrush, and just kind of work it into the grains here, or the grain of the wood, I guess. I don't know. And it also takes some of that gunk off if there's a lot of gunk buildup, because it is kind of like a fretboard cleaner in a way. And then you can take one of these rough, like shop rags. It'll help get some of the gunk off too, and help rub that lemon oil into the wood even further, and it looks absolutely stunning after the fact. So I really like how that turned out. Let's address these tuners. Now, this is probably the hardest part of this whole upgrade process, and I'll explain as we go. So here are the new Guyker tuners. They're great. They're all black, and obviously they're locking, which the benefit of that is quick string changes, not tuning stability. You can fight me in the comments on that. People will argue that till the cows come home. 2 rows of screws here to take out here, and as you can see, the quality of these old tuners is questionable at best, as yeah, you don't see those tuners on there very often on guitars nowadays. But you need to take these parts out here too. Quite unconventional. Someone's going to tell me I'm not handy in the comments, maybe. Someone already did. But yeah, just take a flathead screwdriver, put it in there, and a hammer or a rubber mallet or whatever, and just gently tap it, and you can knock them loose, and then take that same flathead and just kind of pry them out. You don't even have to pry them out. They just get knocked loose, and yeah, they just come right out. And after that, I mean, like I said, if you're easy with it, you can see there's no damage done to the headstock. But we're going to change that here in just a second, because we're going to need to. Because, as you can see how these locking tuners work, we have a little screw piece here, and then we have a washer, which washer needs to go on first, dum-dum. Put that in there, it fits perfectly, okay? Then you got to put the tuner itself in there, and, well, damn it, it just don't fit. So now you got to go chug a monster and punch a wall, Kyle. Go do that. It's this part right here causing that. So what do we got to do? We got to damage that headstock just a little bit. Widen these holes with a drill. I don't know what size this drill bit is. I'm sorry, but literally I just eyeballed it one day. And I've used this drill bit a bunch, but you can see I'm not a handyman, so I have to clean up some of these little pieces a little bit. But it does fit in there nice and snug, so I did something sort of right, I guess. The washer will cover most of this up, so I'm not even worried about it. It's just, it is what it is. But you want to make sure that these tuners are lined up, specifically at those screw holes. I just like to use a fret rocker and just kind of go along here just to see if they're all lined up. If not, just turn them so they kind of line up along the fret rocker, and you're good to go after that, really. Once you get that lined up, I like to go ahead and put these parts in there just to help add a little bit more stability and just kind of get that part out of the way. Now we need to put these new screws in there. Fortunately, most times you'll see that the holes at the bottom of the old tuners will line up with these almost perfectly, but in this case they were like slightly off, so I just decided to re-drill some holes to put the new screws in there just to be on the safe side. Not even drilling deep into the headstock, just enough to get kind of like a starting point for the screws, and it worked out perfectly. So I was able to put these screws in here after they're all lined up and everything, and you can see they look absolutely beautiful, and they are pretty spot on. Then I take my Music Nomad tool again and just go and tighten these screws on the front just to make sure we have maximum tuning stability from these new tuners and that they are in place properly. Look at that. Looks absolutely stunning. All right, now we're going to move on to the pickup. This was kind of a pain in the butt too, but it was by far easier than putting on the tuning machines. Stayed with the all black stick here. What it was that the wire from the pot to the output jack was extremely short, so getting up under there to unsolder this pickup was kind of a pain, but fortunately it was only one pickup, so it didn't take that long. Here's the Guyker one, the bridge one, obviously. You have the 5-wire system, so you have the green and the bare, which is the ground, the red and white, which is for coil splitting and stuff, which I'm not doing. So we're going to go ahead and put some heat shrink wrap over that. The black is the hot, so that's the only one we're going to be soldering to get the sound out, obviously, and then take my soldering iron, just melt that heat shrink wrap a little bit, and there you go. So now the pickup, perfect fit into the pick guard, by the way. Direct replacement there. Didn't have to like sand the pick guard or anything. I've had to do that before with other stuff, other pickups, and the Guyker was a complete fit. So we go ahead and put that back on there. Let's go ahead and string it up with some SIT 10-46. Thank you, Brad at Hot Frog Music, for recommending these strings to me years ago. I've used them on and off since, and they're great. Run through the bridge, like I said before, through the back. Loosen the screw on the back of the tuning machines. Run it through, pull it taut, tighten them up, tune it up. Dead easy. That's the benefit of locking tuners. And then last but not least, the big bad wolf sticker down here at the bottom to round out this project. And now we have the completed project here. So we have our Squier Silver Bullet Werewolf guitar completed. All the Guyker parts are installed. The sticker is on there looking nice and prominent as well. The sticker actually works a lot better than I thought it would. So I wanted to talk about it just briefly, kind of the overall process, just in case you didn't watch the video all the way through or you missed something. I just kind of wanted to detail it. So specifically installing the Guyker parts, because that's kind of the whole point of this video. So I'll start from the easiest to install right on up to the hardest one. So we really had 3 parts here. The easiest by far was replacing the volume knob. So all you had to do was loosen the little screw that's right there with the included Allen key, pop off the old knob, put that one on there, tighten it up, it's good to go. It's not going anywhere. Perfect, right? The second easiest part to install actually was the pickup. And I say that because, well, first off, Guyker had already wrapped the green and ground cable together, and then the red and white, which would be used for coil splits and stuff. And then I put the heat shrink wrap over the red and white just to kind of keep them from touching other parts in there and causing weird electrical issues. The hardest part of installing that was the pick guard was kind of really hard to access that pot because the cable that they have in there, the wire rather, from the output jack to the pot was very, very short, so it just was really awkward to get up under there and solder it, but everything got it soldered in just fine. Pretty easy to do, and if you know how to solder something, that's a pretty easy job. The most difficult part, I guess, I'm putting that rather lightly because it's not super duper difficult, but it is a little bit more labor intensive, were the locking tuners. So you saw there I did have to drill out the holes on the headstock to widen them just a little bit, and that's not the first time that I've had to do that with not just Guyker tuners, with other tuners as well. And it seems like import guitars are the biggest victim of those smaller tuner holes, right? And I've had to do that with pots too. I've had to drill out the body with the same size drill bit that I had. I don't know what size it is, I apologize, but it's pretty easy to figure out if you just do some simple eyeballing. That's really what I did. I guess I just got lucky. I don't know. But I've had to do it on Squiers, Epiphones, a lot of different import guitars to replace pots and tuners on them. So just keep that in mind. They may or may not be a direct fit.
The other thing with the tuners is that you had to make sure that they were lined up, because you saw that the cheap tuners that were in there before weren't the same style as this one. So you did have to re-drill holes for the screws in the back. They did almost line up with the original bottom hole that was on those original tuners. But I will tell you this, that was a labor of love, because those tuners are spades better than the original. Now, the locking element is not there for tuning stability. It is there for fast string changes. That is it. Locking tuners do not help with tuning stability. It still comes down to the quality of the tuner, which, as we've seen here between the tuners, the pickup, and even this little knob right here, the Guyker parts are solid. They are great. These were all valuable replacements, and they work perfectly. And then we can't forget the piece de resistance, everybody's favorite part of modding a guitar. Put in a big old sticker right there. Again, I bought this one instead of like a werewolf silhouette, just to kind of be a little bit of a, I don't know, make it stick out a little bit more. And it actually works really, really well against the color and everything. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. And I hope you're happy with the process of how this turned out too. The Guyker products, 100% worth it. If you gotta re-drill holes for the tuners, or if you get pots from them, 100% worth it, because they are great products. So I love this thing. It upgraded nicely. Everything else was fine on it, so there's that. But thank you again, Guyker, for sending out the parts, for sponsoring this video, for supporting the channel, and thank you very much for watching this video and also supporting the channel. If you want to help support the channel even further than just watching the video, give it a like, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you know when other videos come out, and there are links in the description for the Guyker parts with a discount code to help you out a little bit for being so awesome. And if you want to help this channel more, you can check out my Teespring store and pick up some merch. I greatly appreciate that as well. With that being said, my name is Jonathan. This has been my Pink Room of Doom. Thank you very much for checking it out with me together, and I hope to see you guys in another video.